Can a practice of being in search of moments and people and experiences to be grateful for, practiced regularly, help us with our emotional health and well-being? What exactly does a practice of gratitude offer us for our emotional well-being? And can it become an unwavering habit to ensure that we can regularly nurture our emotional health? How can we practice the art of appreciation and turn what we have into enough and more? And is gratitude the fulcrum that can help us balance our positive and negative emotions when these emotions are imbalanced and help us to unlock the fullness of life? My name is Michael Scicchitano, and this is Right Here, Right Now, a podcast to inspire the learner inside each of us. In a world that is full of so much information, we will help find and package that information so that you can use it in your lives every day in practical ways. And in each episode, we will remind you of the importance of being present and mindful of your daily thoughts, actions, and interactions. It is truly the most vital step to learning and growth, being mindful and present right here, right now, to take on life's challenges and turn them into life's lessons. So come on this venture with us, a new beginning, a new journey that starts right here, right now. Welcome back, people. I am Michael Scicchitano, your host of Right Here, Right Now, the podcast that will lead us down a path of a more grateful spirit as we come upon our National Day of Giving Thanks. The podcast that will help remind us that being thankful should not be a seasonal practice or trendy fad for a social media post if we are to truly help others and be helped ourselves by this inclination of gratefulness. The podcast that will provide an insightful message as to why we must make room for gratitude and how we can nudge ourselves and each other to a better way of appreciating all that we encounter in life, the good and even the not so good. So 'tis the season here, people, the season of gratitude, of giving thanks on this day of Thanksgiving. This is the season where we get a little more primed to be a little more thankful for the meaningful moments in our lives. And I do believe that no matter what is going on in your life, each and every day we can find something that we can be thankful for. One thing that we can appreciate that may have gone unnoticed in the way we all sometimes mindlessly travel through our busy, hectic days. And doing this every day, noticing something and reflecting on these things every day, may help to change our outlook on life and potentially stabilize our emotional well-being. So, of course, many of my thoughts and ideas for these episodes and the writing that inspires the work start off with questions. Questions about a particular topic or particular practice or an insight in how we can manage our lives and our thoughts and our actions to live a better life. And it is always a good practice to consider thought-provoking questions before looking for some answers. And when I began to think about an episode on gratitude, I got really curious about why we may want to get better at this particular practice. Curious about why we should be appreciative of so much in our lives, much more often than one random autumn day in November. And then I came across a wonderful quote that helped to shape the concept of this episode and really helped me bring it to life. Gratitude unlocks the fullness of life. It turns what we have into enough and more. It turns denial into acceptance, chaos to order, confusion to clarity. And this is from Melody Beattie, author of a wonderful book on my reading list, The Language of Letting Go. And if we believe that this practice has the capacity to impart a positive effect on our pursuit of unlocking the fullness of life, we may want to know what impact being grateful can have on our emotional well-being. We can certainly make the case that we may want to start with an awareness of how we handle our daily fluctuating emotional states. The roller coaster of emotions that sometimes can have us up and down and all over the place from moment to moment. And we can sometimes feel that our feelings are a bit out of balance. We may feel like we are prisoners to our feelings at times, and that we can even be controlled by them when they are a bit more out of alignment or seemingly more out of control than usual. How about right here, right now, we take a nice deep breath and notice how we might be feeling without any judgment here, people. The core of mindfulness. Just noticing. The art of noticing is the most impactful first step to being better, getting better, learning ways that we can manage and cope with some of our strife. Must begin with an awareness of how we are feeling in this very moment. It sounds simple. It's not at all easy. What I'd like to propose here is that as we notice how we might be feeling, we must attempt to put these events and emotions into context of what is happening in our lives, perhaps with the sharpened tool of a grateful mindset, and reflect on what are some of the good or even great things we have in our lives and how we have sharpened our skills of resilience when things are not going so well. So let's turn to some of those questions as we work on these concepts here. Can a practice of being in search of moments and people and experiences to be grateful for, practiced regularly, help us with our emotional health and well-being? What exactly does a practice of gratitude offer us for our emotional well-being? And can it become an unwavering habit to ensure that we can regularly nurture our emotional health? We know that we will encounter positive emotions and negative emotions in many of the events and experiences in our lives. How can we practice the art of appreciation and turn what we have into enough and more? And is gratitude the fulcrum that can help us balance our positive and negative emotions when these emotions are imbalanced and help us to unlock the fullness of life? And this might be the powerful reason for the impact that the practice of gratitude can have on us. And let's imagine that more of the negative emotions are being experienced. In those moments, can we pause, notice this, and wield some gratitude in these moments to shift the fulcrum and tip the scales into the more balanced emotional state, using gratitude to help garner some positive thoughts, better perspective, greater appreciation for the good things in our life, and maybe allow the negative emotions to not have as much leverage over us with a grateful mindset. Perhaps even becoming well practiced enough in this that we can even be grateful in the difficult moments for the lessons that we will learn and carry forth. Perhaps sprinkling a little bit of our Amor Fati practice to aid in this habit. It does take a fair amount of practice, though. We know this. The unrelenting theme that continues to pop up for me as I create the works for this season of Right Here, Right Now, in the episodes that you're going to hear in this third season, is practice. It's a gentle reminder here, people, that all of the principles and insights and skills and habits that we look for to show progress in our lives well lived require a constant coming back to the basics of doing these things regularly, practiced mindfully in the present moments of our lives. It helps if you have a coach or a partner on this journey, someone that can remind you and someone you can nudge in the right direction when we get derailed and caught up in the noise and tumult of our lives, because that is when we most need to practice these principles. So today, on this day of giving thanks, let's all slow down, settle into this moment, be present here and now in the midst of the shopping and running and working and cooking and cleaning and eating, and maybe just a little more eating. We can slow down in this very moment, be grounded here, opening your mind and heart now. And we'll do another deliberate and mindful, slow, deep breath in as we pause. And then slowly release this breath as you thank yourself for making the time for this very moment. And simply be grateful that you can take this mindful deep breath as we slow ourselves down. The absolute power of the mindfully consumed deep breath, how powerful it is. That takes a lot of practice too. And Tamara Levitt reminds us that our mindfully carried out deep breaths can change the way we experience our moments in life. And she stated on a beautifully presented mindfulness meditation on the Daily Calm app, with each breath, we are right here, right now. So you know that resonated with me. Let's use this as we begin to settle in to a grateful mindset. And today, I'd like to offer some insight and then some practical tips on how we might be able to get a little more out of this practice of gratitude. In our practice, we get more out of it the more we put into it, and the more we see some progress and improved results with the work we put in. And it is not about trying harder to be more grateful. Trying to force this in any way will not help. We will go over some practical things we can do to get better. But for now, let's consider a fresh mindset that we can take into the practice of gratitude. A new mindset in noticing what we are experiencing in the present moments of our lives. That is what this practice is all about. It is the work that we do, less attached to the outcomes, more focused on the journey that we gently travel on, finding the lessons and embracing the hardship along the way. And Rumi has a quote, and it really kind of encapsulates what I'm really trying to talk about here, how grateful, this grateful mindset can really help. And it says, wear gratitude like a cloak, and it will feed every corner of your life. And I really do believe it has that kind of power and that kind of impact on us. And gratitude is something that offers us in its most potent and powerful form, perspective. It is not about comparing yourself to anyone else. Rather, it is more like contrasting how each of your very own moments and experiences and emotions relate to other moments in your life. And what am I trying to say here? I think I like to propose that as we make it a habit to look at our life and the experiences in our life, we should pay close attention to how we look at and gently search for some of the things that we ought to be grateful for. We talked a bit about how this will be helpful for us in the good times and the times that we are struggling. And how can we get through some of the more difficult times in our life with a more sharpened practice of gratitude? How can we get better at this practice? It is not just about repetition. We want to practice better habits. We want to learn from the habits as we try to formulate them and try to make them part of our lives. More insightful and pragmatic practice with a disciplined approach is what we can strive for. So today, right here, right now, I would like to advocate that we can be better at gratitude. We can use the power of perspective in how we look at our lives to help us to be better practitioners of gratefulness. And again, this time of year where we all of a sudden thrust into the spirit to become more thankful for the good in our life, I challenge each of our followers to take a step back and begin to look at some of the adversity and difficulty in our daily lives. Yes, we're going to start there. This will help to set us up for being aficionados of appreciation in cultivating the benefits of reflecting on moments that we feel blessed, harnessing the ability to be aware of the positive perspective in relation to our darker or less positive moments, and how we can uplift our lives with an appreciation of the wonderful moments to catapult ourselves and perhaps each other to a greater grateful mindset. And let's think about this perspective taking and how it can allow us to be more grateful when we look at some of the polarity of emotions and experiences in our life. Let's look at some examples here and consider some of the questions with some curiosity again. Bring that along. Do you think it's possible that we revel a bit more consciously in a good day or moment at work after some not so good days or moments at work? It might be a good way to look at some of our appreciation of these better moments in relation to the not so good moments, right? Your not so good moments. You have to experience and be mindfully present in your bad days to truly enjoy it and appreciate the good days. Another question, what about those Monday morning blues, right? Without those rough Monday mornings and trudging our way back to work after some free time on the weekend, would that TGI Friday night feeling be as meaningful or as potent? Would we ever appreciate the stillness or quiet or peace we can sometimes get a glimmer of if we are not paying attention to how our minds are racing during the hustle and bustle of our busy lives? And I think this is what is magical here. We are not comparing our experiences to other people's experiences when it comes to gratitude. That is a danger zone. I think we all know it. It's the social media trap. Steer clear of it. Be mindful of it. What we're looking to do is we are contrasting our very own emotions from one experience we have to our very own emotions we feel in the midst of another experience that we have. It's almost like that feeling you get after a bunch of rainy days, cloudy and a little gloomy weather that's following you around. And then you feel that sun come up and you see the blue skies and feel the warmth of the sun hitting your face. Maybe slightly a different appreciation or relationship with the sun on those days for at least the first few hours of that first sunny day in what seems like a long while after too many days without her bright, sunny face. We must be grateful. Look for some level of appreciation for some of the challenging times we face for this practice to take hold and for it to have lasting impact on our emotional well-being. The difficult and the unfavorable days and the poor health and the financial struggle and the emotional setbacks, we can always be grateful. Maybe not for everything, but perhaps for at least something. We will benefit from being even more grateful for these not so good moments if we look at it in terms of how we have grown and evolved from the struggle or strife in our life. We find the blessings in the lessons, and we have earned what we have learned in these moments of discord. And for this, we are grateful for the strain that we endure. And perhaps this will help to tip the scales back to better balance our emotional upheaval that we sometimes find ourselves in, right? We search for that grateful moment, whatever it is, to kind of shift us back and get us out of the darker time and the darker feelings. We can think of this again in terms of having that bad day at work. And this maybe sets us up for some other negative feelings that were bubbling at the surface to come out a bit more. to tip our emotional state a bit more out of balance. So we notice this, and that's great. It starts with noticing. And then we say things to ourselves to get us on a path to looking for something we can be grateful for. And maybe our mantra to get us through those days could be, what am I learning through this tough time? And reflect and be grateful for the lesson with an open mind and an open heart. It's not easy to do this. Be easy on yourself. Have some compassion for yourself, right? And in the middle of this, we can also think, I am fortunate to be working, and I am healthy enough to be able to provide for my family. And for this, I am grateful, even on this rough day. Tomorrow will be better with the lessons and my very own attitude of gratitude that I take from today. And on those good days that we experience, in a mindfully present moment, we can reflect on the bad days to better and more gratefully appreciate that good day feeling of today. So again, the theme is taking the perspective, contrasting one mindful moment of your life with another to balance the scales of our emotional disequilibrium. And it's sort of these thoughtful dichotomies here. We kind of go from one extreme to the other, and there's a continuum that we go along. And maybe we think of it this way in terms of of helping our perspective taking here. And I'll do a couple of more examples, right? Consider how we can embrace our sorrows more fully and why we would do that. Without these moments of sorrow, our joyous moments would probably be less meaningful to us. So, a greater appreciation of joy after the pain, like seeing the rainbow after the rain. Can we consider that we live for the failures and setbacks and learn from them? And these will lead you to greater opportunities for success and greater satisfaction in the achievement. So you kind of got these setbacks along the way. We notice them. We're grateful because those are lessons that we have. And once we reach that goal, and we will if we're persistent and resilient, that achievement feels better. There's more satisfaction. We can be more grateful if we're mindfully present of the difficulty we endured to get us there. And God willing, we find ourselves in good health. Let's not wait until we are stricken with poor health to realize how fortunate we are to be healthy, to be alive, to be hopefully a vibrant spirit. And perhaps the practice of gratitude can be a very difficult notion when we think of the losses in life that we have suffered. The losses that perhaps struck us with sorrow for far too many moments, loss of loved ones, loss of relationships, loss of our own good health or a loved one's precious good health, loss of employment, loss of financial stability. But I declare that starting today, right here, right now, we can look for the good, the grateful moments in all that we do and all that we experience, no matter the situation. So the science is there, and we know anecdotally that practicing gratitude can have numerous positive effects on our mental well-being and overall outlook on life, giving life that fullness. Let's go over some practical ways that we can incorporate gratitude into our daily routines. And please, people, let's not be overwhelmed by these. Try out a few or even just one today on this day of giving thanks, and let the momentum of the positive impact take you to more of these practices. And remember, it is not about forcing these efforts. It is more about the process of noticing and being more mindful of the genuine and gratefully experienced moments of our life, so that our mood and emotional well-being can stabilize and propel us into a better emotional state. So, people, shake off that overstuffed food coma that you are in and pay attention right here, right now, as we settle in to these practical practices of greater gratitude. And we'll begin with perhaps keeping a gratitude journal. Can we set aside time each day to write down a few things we are thankful for? It could be as simple as a beautiful sunrise, a supportive friend, or a moment of personal achievement, or even just a little progress in the right direction of that achievement. Let's try to be specific and focus on the details. Instead of just saying you're grateful for family, specify something particular about a particular family member or a shared experience. We can often do this in just one sentence, right? Express gratitude to others. This one is powerful. This one allows the gratitude contagion to spread to others and then perhaps beyond them as well. Take the time to tell people you appreciate them. Take the time to tell them why. Be specific again. Could be a friend, a family member, colleague, or even a stranger who has made a positive impact on your day. Write thank you notes or send messages expressing your gratitude. This not only benefits the recipient, but also reinforces positive feelings within yourself. Reflect on challenges. Consider how we can reframe challenging situations by identifying what we've learned or gained from them. We can foster a sense of resilience and gratitude for personal growth. Right? Those blessings in the lessons. Think back to the Stoic principle from Marcus Aurelius. The obstacle is the way. What stands in the way becomes the way. Right? Let us be grateful for the lessons along the way, the barriers that we overcome, the lessons that they taught us. And can we practice a gratitude meditation? If you have a little bit of a practice of meditation, doesn't have to be formal, doesn't have to be fancy, but just these small moments that we can meditate on. We can, I think, incorporate gratitude into those mindful meditation practices. Take a few minutes each day. Just think about, focus on things we are thankful for in the midst of some nice deep breaths. This can help shift our mindset and bring awareness to positive aspects of our life. We have an upcoming episode on positive reflection, sort of the same thing, and gratitude is just another one of the ways that we can benefit from reflecting positively on our experiences in life. And we probably could do better with this by creating gratitude reminders and thankful cues. Set reminders on your phone or place visual cues like a good old-fashioned sticky note around your environment to prompt you to take a moment and reflect on things you have to be grateful for. Or we can partner up with someone to regularly reflect on those things we can be grateful for. Talking this out with someone that shares a similar mindset is very powerful. This can be particularly helpful during busy or stressful times. And again, mindfulness. Paying attention to the present moment without judgment. We can engage our senses and appreciate the small details in our surroundings if we notice, when we are aware of them, and if we attend to these moments when we are more mindful. Mindfulness can enhance our ability to recognize and savor moments that deserve our gratitude. Don't let those moments down, people. They deserve our gratitude. And maybe you can challenge yourself here, right? Don't force yourself. It's a challenge, right? Get a little competitive with yourself to identify a certain number of things you're thankful for each day. Start small, even just one. Start with one. This can help develop a habit of focusing on the positive aspects of your life, right? Have compassion toward yourself here. Start small, especially if this takes a while to catch on for you. It might, and that's okay. And this last one, share gratitude with loved ones. Discuss gratitude with friends or family members and share what you all are thankful for. And discuss how noticing what we can appreciate a little more deeply and how it has a positive impact on many parts of your life. discuss tactics, nudge each other in the direction to be mindful of this practice. And it can create a positive atmosphere and encourage others to reflect on their own sources of gratitude. Remember that practicing gratitude is a skill that develops over time. A greater awareness with a mindfully present approach to our moments in life is the crucial first step here, people. And I'm glad you're here listening right here, right now. And you begin to take notice, and then it continues with paying closer attention to our emotional well-being and the impact, the positive impact that gratitude has. And then consistency is how we propagate the momentum to build the practice for the positive benefits so that we can make this a daily habit, a daily ritual. And I wish to leave you with one more quote, again from Melody Beattie. And she tells us that gratitude makes sense of our past, brings peace for today, and creates a vision for tomorrow. I love this. It really sets the stage for what it can do for us. So, people, be present and thoughtfully incorporate a practice of gratitude into your daily routine right here. Be mindful and cultivate a mindset of appreciation to enhance your overall well-being and that of those around you right now. Thank you all for joining us on this bonus Thanksgiving episode. Please share this episode today and rate the podcast. I would be very grateful to each of you for doing this for me. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving, people. We'll see you next time, right here, right now. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time, right here, right now.